I am telling you that I discovered a way that I think, and it has logic and reason throughout, I think anyway, throughout, the whole process of ascending or channeling source. Essentially, you ascend and channel source. So that's powerful. And here's my, I guess, the keys to what I'm talking about, how to get there. And that is, so first, you have to have the desire. I had the desire. I found my way, my truth, a very powerful truth. And I think because I use logic and reason that others could benefit from knowing my process to connecting with Source itself. Pure, good, great energy is what I'm referring to. Pure being the most important, pure good. And so, first step is wanting to know. And in my case, I kind of raced to where I thought I should go, which was pure good energy. And this is how I thought I'd get there quicker, I guess. Number one, realizing if I pursue anything, I'm going to need a focused mind. And I look back to my own history and realize that my brain was super focused after long exercise sessions. And those sessions are basically just push yourself, make yourself as badass as you can be. And so, anyway, so all those, a lot of exercise to trigger the amazing amount of focus. So I say 2 hours out of a 3-hour process. The first 2 hours are just the first step. That is to focus your brain and set up the chemistry inside your body to experience bliss. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of layers you got to get to if you're not practicing to get to the state of bliss. It's a lot of work. But I think this routine, these insights that I'm sharing help you break through all of that. Break through everything, as a matter of fact. So that's the whole point. You want to be able to take yourself to Source and channel it strongly. Okay, until you become it, essentially. And I'll tell you how I envision all that. But anyway, so the first key is desire to want to know. Like in your case, I already did the pioneering within myself, and I believe I use the greatest logic and reason. And so the first key is desire, and then your body is the second one. And the goal of working your body out that much until you can't go anymore. That's the kind of workout I'm talking about, where you just can't. Your brain gets tired of pushing your muscles. So it's interesting. You push your muscles so far and then you keep going. Yeah, there's so many things you got to be able to do, like, override pain, kind of ignore it. Not the bad pain, just the good pain. It all hurts. Even the good pain is painful. You're like, I can't do this. And that's like mainly aerobic. You shouldn't be doing that with weights. You want to be able to push yourself, but not so bad hard. So anyways, you do anything that you're moved to do. Like if you want to do higher kicks, or throw faster punches, more powerful punches, or dance, or start playing with your heart while you're dancing, just sending it some beautiful vibes through movement and music. Very powerful to use music, by the way. for the first. Actually, I use it throughout the whole workout, but it changes. Like the first 2 hours, the body essentially. So you do that to set up. You start. Okay, so on the chemical basis, what you're doing is you're partly destroying cortisol, which in high amounts causes anxiety. You don't want to be anxious during this process. That's the last thing you want to feel. As a matter of fact, just the opposite. You want to be completely comfortable. At all times, I feel powerful, channeling. And as you practice, it becomes so. So at first, you might not feel anything. That was normal for me. It took me 3 days of just having faith. It was just those first 3 days. I had to have faith that what I was doing somehow was going to get me where I wanted to go. So that's the only time I needed to have faith. And after that, I could feel something that was inexplicable. The amount of power that was coursing through my body. I literally looked at my hands. It was so trippy. So anyways, I knew I tapped into something way more powerful because I'd had a lot of natural highs already. I loved sports. I loved martial arts, like with a passion. All of it, actually. You know, I had there are different passions for, like, let's say if you play tennis or racquetball or any of the sports, really. You know, catch, football, whatever. You're having a certain play style with gravity. And that's what we're working a lot with throughout this whole process, is the concept called gravity. I'm not going to call it a force. I'm not going to try to define it. Let's just say it's very important. It plays a great role in your process of ascension. So, first key, working out, mainly focus mind, set up the chemistry inside your body so it starts to break down cortisol. You start due to the pain, your body responds and starts to create endorphins, which are super powerful molecules that really make you feel superb. So anyways, endorphins take care of the pain, so they're powerful. You kick those in, and so at the same time you're killing the pain of all kinds. You see, that's the part of this process that's so important, is what you're doing. Like I said, you're trying to set up a chemistry within you, so wherever you're at, it doesn't matter where you're at. What you do is you can use that energy to push yourself one more rep, to go a little bit faster, to exercise a little bit longer. So that's what you use that energy for. I call it actually RAR too, because you want to get aggro and transfer that energy into you pushing. So you're converting it into a strength. Instead of it being a weakness, you're converting it into a strength, because you're burning it up and you're doing something positive with it. As mundane or as earthly as that is, it's important. I believe there's a reason for everything. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they don't have to be the greatest reasons. But I think there's a reason for everything. Nothing is a mistake. I think, obviously, I believe this is a consciousness journey. So I just envisioned, I envisioned my own great God. It's like, okay, the concept of God, what would that be? He's good. Oh, okay, that's great. So I envisioned good. If I could combine my concept of planet bliss, or I should make it the universe. They say that's a thing. The whole thing. Make it all bliss. All of it. Make it bliss. And combine it with the view of what I had God as in my mind, in my heart, pure and good the most. I felt that. So part of the process is seeking Him after the first 2 hours of exercise, which I think for now I've spent enough time on. And that's mainly to focus the mind. You push yourself physically, you wear yourself out, and all of a sudden there's the letting go. You go from what I describe as more linear, the mundane, it's more the materialistic world, not the mundane, the materialistic world. You push yourself physically, and it transfers to your process of going into waveform as a vibrationary, bio-electric, Empyrean spirit thing. So anyway. So yeah, the first 2 hours just to focus the mind and create the chemistry within your body to prepare for bliss. And then that mind immediately goes from, like I said, earlier it was pushing the body to it until it gets tired itself. And then immediately you go into waveform, which now has to be a conductor. Your brain becomes a conductor at this point, and it's a great time to start the conduction process after you've worked out, because that also increases the amperage that goes to your brain. The amount of power that goes to your brain, generated from your nerves, your position, time, space, highly, highly effective to play with, to take your mind to the next focus level. And so anyway, so that mind, super focused, super powered, you tell it, hone in on pure energy. And your mind goes, at least this is what I envision and works for me, it goes immediately above me, like as if there's a pole that's going through me, and I have to, or a vortex, I have to ride that as close and being right there in the middle in it, along an infinite direction going up. So that means your mind, because your mind is focused, you're able to do this. It's amazing. So that's why it's so important to start there, I say. And what works for me and my truth. And I think, like I said, reasoning and logic and a little bit of thank you, universe, for sending you the right people at the right time. I know I have to be thankful for that. Definitely. So, with that powered mind, you imagine just tapping into Source itself, and you find it straight above. And now what's happening is, firstly, body to mind, now mind to spirit. So how do you do that? Well, you got to bring in the heart. Now that you've taken, the raw part, the first key, or the second key, physical, to get the mind focused, now you use the focused mind to guide and protect your heart as you take it on a voyage. And so this voyage is basically to clear itself out of negative energy. And now the exercises change, the kind of music changes to more, I had used Guitaro. I think it was from Silk Road. I don't know. I think it was Disc 2. I'm not sure though. I can't remember now. So use that music to start channeling this source, because if your mind is tapped into it, you want to be able to bring it to you. And the way I would do that is basically using your breath. You focus on the source, and then you use your breath to take in what is best considered white light. And within that white light, which has all the colors in it, you have what I refer to as the God particle, or powerful energy, concentrated energy of Source itself. So that's why I imagine, and it's spread out, and what you're doing is you're concentrating it as you're imagining using your breath to bring in this white light that has those Source particles that you condense in yourself by imagining putting those Source particles, I'm going to call them Mancheno's Empyrean particle. There it is. So you take this particle and you envision putting it into the infinite space that supposedly exists within your atoms. It's all energy field, supposedly. So what you're doing is you're inviting only this pure good energy in you. Because I rationalized, I logicked, that what else would I invite inside me if not Source itself? Pure, good, great. Because that's who I am, okay? If I'm going to be anything or be capable of anything, I would want to do that. So you use your breath over and over. You imagine using what you're breathing in white light, and then you see within that the Source particles, Mancheno's Empyrean particle, come within that white light, and you're putting it inside the infinite space that's within your atoms, and then you exhale anything else out. And then you, once again, you focus on the pure within the last pure, because you've got to get your mind focused first in this chain. And that's what the 2 hours of exercise were. That's a big part of what those hours of exercise are for. So then we go, okay, you start taking in the God particle and inviting it inside your atoms. And at the same time, you have to invoke your heart. You're breathing in passionately, okay? It's to the point where you're almost vibrating. Your ribs are vibrating. With the last part of drawing into deep breath, it's like you're saying more. It's so powerful you want to drink as much of it as possible, or take in, savor, channel. And so there you are. Your hands are facing up. Palms should be head up. Third eye towards lines of gravity. Really, it's just your forehead. You just feel your whole organism, not just your third eye. Your whole organism feels gravity. And you look up until and use your eyes to gauge, is that straight up for me? So you're seeking it. You're actually seeking it. Anyways, and that's the powerful position. You have your palms up, head up, you're breathing in deeply, your legs apart a little bit. You become the shape of a toroid, which I believe is the energy pattern that's going around us as we're drawing this in, and it goes through and around and back and through, around and back. So it's sort of an endless loop, energy loop. And now you've used the vortexes or the poles. I'm not sure what they're called, but if I were to call them anything, I would call them poles of energy that emit. And I believe it's one way, the same way that magnetism works. So let's say, I'll have to show you a picture of what I'm talking about, but the spin of the energy around creates, if there's a pole, energy movement through you. And that's a property of magnetism. That's how a generator works. There's a spin, usually magnetic, energy field, and in the middle is you, but in the middle of a generator would, let's say, be copper wire or something. And then that spin alone moves along the electrons, along the copper, to create this force and energy. I guess I'm going back to the proprioception, your nerves, movement. Send a lot of information from your position, time, space, and electrical input, stimulus. I believe muscles and ligaments are one of the most powerful ways to do that I've found. And then later you start channeling it, so it's like super powerful channel through the energy that you really work through your body. It's like you are ready on so many levels. That's what's great. It's important. Physical, get rid of any angst, raw phase. Convert that to positive change, physical change. Make yourself beautiful while you're at it. And then once the mind is focused, you start working with spirit. And once you begin these exercises that I refer to as spirit, the goal of that is to become more pure. And with that is, at a certain point, when you can actually commune with Source. So the breathing, you're taking it in, you're packing it in more and more, you're becoming more highly concentrated with this Mancheno's Empyrean particle. You get to the point where you are mostly that. Or maybe we're just even a tiny bit that. But you are now able to channel or access Source energy, which I believe is another part of the energy spectrum of what we call reality, or the universe, one story, many chapters. So anyways, so you're essentially purifying your spirit. The goal is to become the nature of Source, which is good, pure, powerful, great energy. You want to become that. And these exercises, opening up the heart, guiding it, trusting it, allowing it to connect. While your mind is focused on the pure within the pure, you have to feel it. You see, we're talking about next level quantum healing that you're doing. First the physical, more the angst. It happens to the best of us. So work it out. Don't ignore it. Confront it, work it out, move on. Then the mind to focus on this energy, and at the same time, you see, because your mind is so focused, part of it is guarding the heart. Because the biggest part of opening up your heart is having faith the universe won't hurt it, which, let's face it, if you love something and you lose it, it's going to hurt. So, that's a part of the process. But you have to open up yourself again so you can actually, receive the heart experience, while we're here. They're very powerful. Like this process itself invokes the heart. But before that, I invoked the heart to find like a soulmate. And soulmate or not, that was a very amazing, magical, powerful relationship. Weird stuff, like I could sense when she would go through something, and I rarely called her after we broke up. And one time I called her, and she's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it's you." And then she's like, "I'm gonna get married," and my heart was just broken. But without skipping a beat, while my heart is breaking, I'm saying, "Congratulations." And anyway, so heart experience is so big, so powerful, you have to invoke it. And what you're doing is you're trying to become pure at heart. Same with the mind, same with the body. A pure body. And so, anyways, yeah, you're working with spirit now, and that's to basically purify your soul. I believe the soul is an instrument that we were given to connect to source with. And so, yeah, if you do use the third key, mind, to purify spirit, and you purify spirit to the point that it becomes a soul. So that's the goal. Once you have soul established back again, you can access source. Super powerful. You are coursing with that energy. It is the most powerful experience I've ever felt. As a matter of fact, the way I describe it, and then I'll let you guys go, is all of the greatest experiences that you've ever had wrapped into one. So you have all the dynamics of winning a sport, falling in love, jumping high in the sky and just feeling great, etc., etc., etc. Everything, all wrapped up into one. That's the goal. Love y'all. Till the next time. Bye-bye. So the process is essentially to connect to source, purify your spirit enough that it becomes a strong connection to source via your soul. The instrument that you were given to connect to source. Your body is an instrument that you were given to perceive different energy forms around you. There's another video that I feature that information. So yeah, the whole point is to purify that soul through your spirit to the point that you actually get a clear connection to source itself, which means that you have to actually be channeling source energy. If you believe it to be, like I said, I see everything as frequency, and I see this as a direct line, pole, powerful energy, the positive pole. So, yeah, you have to come closer to it. If it is that, this is one of the things I reasoned in logic, and that was, well, if it is that means, and it's the purest thing in the universe, that means it has to be the most pure in the universe. And that means it can't cavort with lesser energy. If it does, it's not as pure as it once was. Now I'm reflecting, should I share this information? No, but the idea is that everything vibrates with source. A good, great source. Purely. So you have to purify your mind. You have to guard your thoughts throughout this whole process. And by process, I'm saying, when I did it, I did 7 months of, I think, almost every day, 3 hours of exercise. Anyways, the whole point of the workout is to develop your soul through purifying your spirit, and then channeling source powerfully, purifying, becoming more pure. You feel it when you're breathing in passionately. You have to feel that pureness. You have to own it, or let it own you. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Real alive. Because you're playing with frequency. It knows if you're on the right frequency or not. It's as simple as that. I know that much. Whatever it is, you can tap into it. And I'm sticking with my definition of pure, powerful, good, great energy, etc. Happiness, love, light, dancing. Anyway, that's enough for now. Love you. Bye-bye.